Oh, so yeah, we are live. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so welcome everybody. This is another episode of uh, the Ridecast. I'm here with Louise, and she is a producer of podcasts and things of that nature. And she was telling me about many different things that she can do, or that I could do. I'm sorry, to get better. So, like, what is some advice? Well, welcome, Louise. I appreciate you for being here. And what is some advice that you have in regards to getting better at doing podcasts?
I think having some good chemistry with the guest,
Okay.
I think really helps because just the rapport and the conversation, the quality of the conversation, I think is what keeps people really hooked in.
Okay.
And I think being able to provide some value for the listener.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people respond really well to some sort of tips and tricks and something that's quite inspiring. So
Okay.
something that brings a good level of energy and really kind of makes folks feel like they've gained something from the 30-minute commitment that they gave you. It is a commitment on a listener's part, right?
Most
And,
definitely.
And it's a very competitive world, podcasts. So there's a lot for folks to choose from nowadays. So I think the more that you can drive home something really of value for the listener,
Mm-hmm.
that they feel like they've gained something from that experience, well, it's also what will bring them back to you, right?
Mm.
That's what will get people incentivized and motivated to return for a future episode. It's a very crowded space, podcasting.
Okay.
So it's I watch Only Murders in This Building
Uh-huh.
on I think it's maybe Hulu or Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez drama,
Mm.
comedy drama, and it's all about a podcast.
Hmm.
And it's all about how in their building in New York there was a murder, and they make a podcast about trying to solve the murder.
Oh, really?
And then they're now 3 seasons in, and there's been more murders in the building, and it's hilarious. But it's really,
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
it
right
is
there.
really interesting how they show building up this podcast and how this podcast then just takes off because they are documenting their investigation into
As they're going
this
along.
murder. And it's really interesting when you actually
What's
see
it called again?
Only Murders in This Building.
That's interesting, and I feel like the value that we try to create here is just more educational.
Yeah.
In the realm of business, in the realm of sales, me being a teacher, someone in sales, and taught many people in sales. There are certain aspects that don't get taught in schools.
Yeah.
And everything that I discuss and everything that I've learned from doing the whole doing rideshare in general, it's helped me learn things about life. And I feel like, well, if those conversations were shared with the world, then the world will be able to see it as well.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose behind me doing it. Like I told you about the one lady that's in college that premieres this Thursday. Like, she's very focused on what she wants to do, what she wants to achieve, and it might be someone that hasn't gotten an idea as to what they want to do, but may watch that and be motivated by it. The one I done just recently, which comes out on the 18th, that one talks about company culture,
Right.
and building up a good team environment and building up a good company culture.
Yeah.
And I felt like that will help out anybody who has struggled with that.
Yeah.
Because the information that she gives out is just amazing.
Yeah.
And so, besides that, I feel like that's the true value
Yeah.
of what it is. It teaches people how to do things in many different aspects of life, because in doing rideshare, you'll pick up people from many different backgrounds.
Sure. Yeah.
And everybody has something to contribute. I think the worst thing is when you have someone who thinks that they don't have anything to contribute.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to them people all the time,
Yeah.
even though they don't want to contribute to it. Not that they don't want to, they just don't think that they have anything to contribute. They think they don't have experience. Well, they do, and they always wind up showing me something new, or they wind up teaching me something that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that's very valuable about this, is that no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, how young you are, how new you are to a certain business, you have something to contribute. You are of value, and you have something that you can teach, as well as just being a student.
Well, everyone has a story, and I think that's why podcasts are so successful,
Mm-hmm.
because essentially podcasts are really centered around storytelling.
Okay.
And storytelling is one of the most primeval ways of us sharing knowledge and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it does, because it's not, when you put somebody in front of a TV camera, we always, because I do a lot of media training with our senior executives at work,
Okay.
and we often talk about, it's like a deer caught in the headlights sometimes, because a TV camera is a very intimidating thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you put that on someone, sometimes they freeze, or a lot of their personality just evaporates, right?
Because they feel like they have to act a certain way or talk a
Exactly.
certain way. Yeah.
And it's intimidating. Whereas a podcast is a much easier medium to, feel comfortable in. It's not as invasive, and generally speaking, it is just having a conversation with the host.
True.
Some of our most successful podcasts have been kind of more like sort of three-way conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So where there is the host who is kind of like, facilitating the conversation, but it's two other folks who are really, sparking off one another. And it could be people with maybe different perspectives, or people that are kind of aligned. So maybe people that are partners in a particular type of business, partner organizations or whatever, and are just, so one will feed off the other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of makes it really, really insightful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're kind of getting this kind of, it's a kind of double down kind of approach, and you're getting the benefit of kind of two people's, interactions with one another, etc. So those can work really well. But again, it's all about pairing up the right people, because it's, to go back to my first comment, it's really about chemistry. And if you can get the right chemistry between people, it's fascinating, because you just want to keep listening, because the conversation, it's a bit like if you watch a talk show and you just can see there's a great rapport with the host, and this guest is, when you watch someone like Tom Hanks on a talk show,
Mm-hmm.
he is just so amazing with hosts, and really lots of fun, and everything you would hope Tom Hanks is going to be
Mm-hmm.
is what he is when you see him on a talk show. And similarly, I've seen people just die on their feet, so getting the right person is definitely the key to it, I think.
Well, I definitely enjoy that, and I check out a few of the episodes.
Yeah, I
So
definitely will.
because I'm sure I'll pick you up again. We
Oh,
we do
we
this all the
always
time,
do.
right?
We do.
And hopefully, hopefully you'll be able to give me some more feedback as to how you think everything are.
I'd be happy
Like I
to.
said, we are still working on everything with the sound. So I would say probably by later this week, everything should be better with the sound
Fantastic. I'm
quality
so
and
delighted
everything.
you're doing it. Good for you.